Hello and good morning everyone, Aigey here, and today I want to talk to you about my personal opinion on Overwatch Season 2 based on the PTR that I have currently played and have played with others across varying ELOs and MMRs, and I want to give my opinion about some of the things that I think will definitely make the game more interesting to play. Now, first and foremost, last season I was able to hit 66 before the season completely ended. I hit my 65 and I was like, let me see, I'll just play a little bit more. I went to 66 and I was done. Because I already had accomplished my goal. I said I wanted to hit 60 before the season ended. Since I started at 52, I was like, I'm just going to hit 60 and be done. I hit 66, and I was very happy. So I went to the PTR, played some, and we started to notice that they had some of the same problems from the original first season. When you queued with your friends and you play primary as support, which is what I do, and I don't necessarily play something like a Lucio where it's just free low, easy healing. You always will get gold medal on healing and objective time as Lucio. That's just how it is on Lucio. But I would play something like Mercy, or I would play something like Zenyatta or Ana, because I had a carry friend and we have this combo where I would boost him because he'd play Genji on attack, and on defense he'd play McCree, and I would play Zenyatta, and I would just pinpoint everything as Zenyatta, and we would make plays happen. So what I would do is we would coordinate together and we'd make really big plays happen, and we'd be able to climb elo super easy that way. From there, we noticed that when I got placed at 52, he got placed at 68 because he was primary DPS, averaging about 3 medals a game and doing a lot of damage each and every game, and I was playing off healer or secondary tank as opposed to a primary tank, and I would be doing things to try and set up plays so that we could win the game. And since that the placement system isn't necessarily based on how well you're able to coordinate as a team to do well, it's more geared towards your personal performance. It makes it a little harder for you to try and promote team-based gameplay for the ranked system in Overwatch, which I think is very wrong. I think completely discourages people from making important calls and decisions that would potentially help your team win when they're just trying to make their own stats look good versus the rest of their team so that they can progress as a player easier than the other person. And what I mean by that is, even in the PTR, you can have the same amount of win-loss as your friends, but your DPS friends will typically be higher placed than you. And that's because you are not dealing as much damage, you are not yielding as many gold medals, and you're just not performing, quote unquote, as well as they are. So you could be dealing a great amount of healing on Zenyatta, or you could be dealing a great amount of healing on Mercy, but you're being beaten out by a Lucio who also has objective time that you do not. You're being beaten out by those two categories, and then your stats fall. But at the same time, because your Lucio is not having the same amount of gold medals as you are, you're also falling behind on that. So you fall out of that specific range that is needed to be able to queue with the rest of your team. So your DPS people will probably be about 600 to 700 points above where you are with the new rating system, and because of that specific change, we were unable to queue together anymore because it was a 500 range, and because he was at 3900 and I was at 3150, both same win-loss ratio, in the PTR, we were no longer able to play with one another because of that specific range change. I went from 3150 to 3000, and I was unable to play with him because I was not able to get up to that 500 range. And him being who he was, he's just sitting at his 3900 while I was sitting at 3100 trying to deal with teammates that honestly didn't know what to do. And it's very frustrating, especially if you have a team of 6. I personally feel that there are some serious changes that need to happen to make the second season ranked a hell of a lot better than the first. And hear me out, this is just all strictly opinion. Nothing is going to be set in stone, but this is just something that I've noticed and I really wanted to change. First and foremost, I thought it should be 1000. And being able to queue with people at 1000, that's something that I wanted to have happen. From what I'm told, it has already been put in store, and it's going to be 1000 range as opposed to the original proposed 500, because it would make it better for people who got placed a little bit lower because they're playing support. I feel that if you are queued with somebody else, you should get the same amount of points as they do for win-loss, regardless of what they get. So let's say that the maximum range, let's just say that people within a 6-stack, everybody in that 6-stack will get the same amount of points, but it's based on the highest person and the lowest person's points. It averages up all the points, and of that average, your entire team as a whole will get one specific number towards that rank. So let's say that you have 3 people that are at 3,300 and 3 people that are at 3,500. You will all be placed at 3,400 to be in the exact middle of that specific thing. Just as a quick example, I feel like that would be more fair on the grading scale, so that way when you're queuing with your friends or possibly your team, when you are practicing solo queue games, practice on team comps, if you're not doing scrims for some of the higher level players, then it would be a lot easier for you guys to queue up with one another and go into the next season as a team, as opposed to just waiting for your team to catch up or just not queuing and just doing solo queue, or even intentionally trying to throw games so that you can play with your friends. I feel like that is entirely wrong, and there are definitely people in this system that I feel would much rather benefit from being able to have everybody on their team at the same exact rating than having one person who's at 4,500 and the rest of the team at 3,500 not able to queue with each other, because from what I'm told, at the Masters tier rating, which is 4,000 and above, you wouldn't be able to queue with them anymore because you have to be within that 500 range to be able to queue with them at that point. So that's just something interesting that I thought of. It was just an idea. That's something I think would definitely work out for the benefit of a lot of players if there was just a way to have it so that your team of 6, if you queue with those 6 people for your placements and you do not change people, it will go into a system where you all are given the same grade. Or if you all finish your placements as a team and you all have the same win-loss ratio, whether it be 10-1 or 1-9 or what have you, you all would be placed around the same area. Now, I understand that some people would strongly disagree with that, because if you queued with somebody that was at 1-9 while you're at 9-1, you wouldn't want to be placed at a 1K or a 2K. You want to be placed at maybe a 3 or a 3,500, such and so on and so forth. And at the same, you wouldn't want to boost them because you were at 3,500 and they scored a 1K, and then it would take the average of those two scores and put them in the middle, and you right with them. You wouldn't want that either. I totally understand that. But to encourage good team play and encourage team play for people that want to play with their friends, I feel that if there should be a system, if you're queued as a 6-stack with your friends, you should be able to get graded as a 6-stack with your friends so that everybody will end that preliminary session or your placements as a team. You should all have the same number. That's how I personally feel. I feel that it would definitely encourage team play. It would encourage more people to play supports and set up different things that would help your team win, as opposed to just making sure that your personal performance of the previous game was good enough to look good for the game to give you more points. Because it should be about creating the greatest team in order to win, as opposed to having the best stats to make you yourself look good amongst a team of 5 random people, or amongst a team of 5 peers, just friends. You shouldn't have to be fighting one another to look the best when you are trying to compete against the other team to win. I feel like throwing in the performance thing to have an extra curve towards either giving you a higher rank versus the people that you're playing with, I feel is unnecessary and makes it a lot more difficult for people to be able to climb. Now, this is the part where I want you to either agree or disagree with me. Go ahead, let me know what you think. But me personally, again, ending the season at 66, starting at 52 and climbing from 52 all the way to 66 as a support main, I feel that it is very difficult for the support players. And hear me out, supports, it's just really difficult to do it, and I don't know why Blizzard is trying to fuck us sideways. I just don't get it. We are trying so hard to carry all of these people. We're trying so hard to make plays, set up, heal, Discord people at the right time, use that Anna Guava juice at the right time to give that Genji the special boy so he can go in there and get a 6K and you don't even get credit for it. Nobody outvotes you at the end of the game. Anything like that. Just things like that. I feel like Blizzard is just making it nearly impossible for anybody to want to play support, because it doesn't feel like you get the recognition half the time unless you're playing Mercy and you get that 5 res and then you maybe kill a turret or something and then it shows you play at the game at the end of the day. Or maybe you just happen to do something really good on Zenyatta that was really interesting to watch and you just so happen to get play of the game. It's just really hard to feel like you did anything, and that's where I want Blizzard to change. I want Blizzard to make some kind of adjustment where you feel like you're doing something as a support, because even in the new patch, when it's a 1,000 difference, if you're getting 900 points less than your DPS because they did something that got them 3 medals or even more, where they got, you know, maybe silver objective time, silver healing because let's say they just played soldier and just silver healing on soldier, whatever, and then gold and everything else, and they're just going to skyrocket in elo while you're stuck there, and like maybe even the 2.5s, 2.5, 2.9k, or you know, your friends over there sitting at a solid like 3.9k while you're just left behind entirely and you won't even be able to play with them anymore. I think that's just wrong. I think when you queue as a team, you do all your placements as a team, your team should have a group rating, and your group rating should reflect you guys playing together, with from the highest to the lowest. Go ahead, let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comment below. These are just my opinions about some Overwatch. It's the game that I love to play, and I can't wait for Season 2. I want to see what happens. I want to see how I do, and who knows, maybe I might become Diamond. I was already Diamond in the PTR, but can't really use that as an actual basis to see how my skill is. But I'm really excited to see where things go. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
You've kept me in your pocket, keep me in your pocket.